The magical worlds of Harry Potter and Game of Thrones have more in common than you think. They share not only fire-breathing dragons and spells, but also more than a dozen actors. Of the 14 actors who did double duty on these two productions, one is special because he played not one, not two, but 6 characters in Game of Thrones. So, stick around to find out who this super talented actor is. 1. Jim Broadbent. Remember Ebb Rose, the Archmeister of the Citadel? He appeared in the 7th season of Game of Thrones. Well, this was in 2017, and you probably still remember him. The same can't be said about the well-intentioned but nutty Professor Horace Slughorn, who came out of retirement to teach potions at Hogwarts. Well, both these characters were played by the English actor Jim Broadbent. He also happened to have appeared in yet another fantasy movie, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, where he played Professor Diggory Kirky. He lets the children stay at his country estate during the war. Seems like this guy loves being a professor on the big screen. 2. Michelle Fairley. We all know who Catelyn Stark was, the strong-willed Lady of Winterfell and the wife of Lord Eddard Stark. But do you remember seeing her in the Harry Potter movies? I had a real hard time recalling, and finally had to ask Google. Well, if you still can't remember, let me remind you. Michelle Fairley had a very brief appearance in the movie series as Hermione's mother. Hermione does a memory charm on her parents before beginning her mission to find and destroy Voldemort's Horcruxes. Now that you have the clues, can you name which movie she made her appearance in? Tell us if you know in the comments below. 3. Sally Mortimer. The English actress Sally Mortimer appeared in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, where she played Madame Pince, the librarian of Hogwarts. She can be seen sitting next to Severus Snape during the end-of-term feast and is also visible in the background of several other scenes. In 2016, she made a cameo as an unnamed Braavosi woman in Season 6 of Game of Thrones. 4. Freddie Stroma. Freddie Stroma played the role of a student at Hogwarts named Cormac McLaggen, who was a keeper in the Gryffindor Quidditch team. He's the guy who annoyed Hermione during Professor Slughorn's Slug Club Christmas party. In Game of Thrones, he appeared in the 6th season as Dickon Tarly, Samuel Tarly's younger brother. 5. Julian Glover. You can't be faulted for not seeing him in the Harry Potter movie. That's because you don't see him. His was the voice of Aragog, Hagrid's giant spider friend who lives in the Forbidden Forest. But any Game of Thrones fan would instantly recognize him as the Grand Maester who served under multiple kings. 6. Nicholas Blaine. Nicholas Blaine made a blink-and-you'll-miss appearance in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix as Bob, a wizard who worked with Arthur Weasley at the Ministry of Magic. In Game of Thrones, he has a slightly longer role as the Spice King of Qarth. 7. Bronson Webb. Bronson Webb plays the role of an unnamed Slytherin student who happens to be a friend of Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. In Game of Thrones, he appeared as Will, a member of the Night's Watch who fled after encountering the White Walkers, and was later executed by Ned Stark for deserting his men. Although it was a small role, it was memorable because he was the first in the show to see the White Walkers. The British actor has played roles in 2 other successful franchises, the Dark Knight trilogy and the fantasy film series Pirates of the Caribbean starring Johnny Depp. 8. Ralph Ineson. Ralph Ineson played Amicus Carrow, a dark wizard and a Death Eater in 3 Harry Potter films. His penchant for playing a ruthless character didn't stop there. In Game of Thrones, he played the Ironborn Raider and Reaver Dagmar Cleftjaw. He betrayed Theron Greyjoy at Winterfell, but soon met his nemesis when he and his men got captured by the sadistic Ramsay Bolton. 9. Daniel Tuat. In The Deathly Hallows Part 1, Daniel Tuat makes a quick appearance in a crowded hall as the skinny Ministry Wizard. In Game of Thrones, however, he has the meteor role of Walder Frey's son Lothar Rey, replacing Tom Brooke, who played the same role in Season 3. 10. Edward Tudor Pole. Well, you probably didn't see him in the Harry Potter movies. That's because he played Mr. Borgin, an owner of Borgin & Burke's store, in a scene that was deleted from the theatrical release of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. But if you're dying to see him in the film, watch the extended edition DVD. Just like in the Harry Potter movie, he has a small part to play in Game of Thrones. He popped up as a ranting street preacher in a Season 2 episode. 11. Natalia Tena. Natalia is one of the few actors who had a significant role in both the Harry Potter movies as well as Game of Thrones. In the Harry Potter movies, she played the purple-haired witch Nymphadora Tonks. And remember, don't call her Nymphadora, it's Tonks. She joined the Game of Thrones cast as the fearless wildling spearwife Osha in the first season until she and Rickon Stark disappeared for some time during Season 4 and 5. She then briefly appeared in the 6th season before becoming a victim of Ramsay Bolton. 12. David Bradley. David Bradley played Argus Filch, the often cruel caretaker at Hogwarts. In the movies, he can usually be seen wandering around the school corridors with his cat, Mrs. Norris, trying to catch students breaking the rules. Filch is quite sadistic and is always lamenting that he's not allowed to use medieval punishments on students. However, this dream was realized in Game of Thrones when he got to play Walder Frey, the awful head of House Frey who betrayed the Stark family. Here he committed one of the most violent acts on television, the Red Wedding. 13. Ciarán Hinds. Ciarán Hinds played Aberforth Dumbledore, Albus Dumbledore's brother, in the final Harry Potter movie. He replaced Jim McManus, who previously portrayed the role in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Fans of Game of Thrones will recognize him as Mance Rayder, leader of the Free Folk. He held the title of King Beyond the Wall and was a feared opponent of the Night's Watch, which he formerly served in as a Black Brother. 14. Ian White. Standing at 7'1", this British basketball player has played his fair share of giant characters on screen. While not credited for his role in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, he stood for the full body shots of Madame Olympe Maxime, the half-giant headmistress at Beauxbaton's Academy of Magic. So in the movie, you see his body, but not his face. However, Ian White more than compensated for not having his face in the Harry Potter movie by playing multiple characters on Game of Thrones, including a White Walker in Seasons 1 and 2, the giant Dongo the Doomed in Season 3 and 4, the giant Wun-Wun in Seasons 5 and 6, 2 giant whites in Season 7, and a giant white in Season 8 who ends up fighting Lyanna Mormont. So, he's actually played a role in each of the 8 seasons of the TV series. So, how many actors could you recognize? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. And don't go anywhere just yet. We have over 2,000 cool videos for you to check out. All you have to do is pick the left or right video, click on it, and enjoy. Stay on the bright side of life.